One has to imagine that 10 or 15 years ago, somebody like Tulsi Gabbard would have been widely celebrated in the Democratic Party. If you think back to the Bush years and how strongly Democrats were condemning that war, how they were talking about bringing our troops home and making peace with our adversaries, if you go back to even 2012 when Barack Obama condemned Mitt Romney for saying that Russia was our #1 geopolitical foe, it seems as though Tulsi Gabbard would have been loved by that Democratic Party. But thanks to the 2016 election, and thanks to the fact that Donald Trump embraced somewhat isolationist foreign policy rhetoric, it's almost as if Democrats want to be the neoconservative party. If you look at the way that they now celebrate the Bush crime cartel, it's really shameful. And this was actually on full display after the debate.
I've got Tulsi Gabbard and I got Steve Schmidt up there that took a shot at you a while ago. I want to give him a shot. Steve, would you repeat what you said about Tulsi Gabbard?
This woman, I thought your performance was dishonest. I think your positions are extreme. And one question I would have for you is, why did you go to Syria to meet Bashar al-Assad? What was the intent of your visit there? And why were you so dishonest with regard to the mayor, insisting that he called for plans to invade Mexico, which, of course, he did not?
Tulsi.
Now, for those of you who don't know who Steve Schmidt is, here's a little bit of a recap. Steve Schmidt worked with Karl Rove back in 2004 to help re-elect war criminals George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. To some degree, he is partially responsible for helping continue the crimes of the Bush administration by helping them reach a second term. If you think about everything horrible that happened in George W. Bush's second term, the continuation of the Iraq War, the response to Hurricane Katrina, the trampling of constitutional rights, the drone war, and everything that led up to the 2008 recession, Steve Schmidt is partially responsible for all of those things because he was one of the influential people who helped re-elect George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. On top of that, Steve Schmidt also worked with John McCain in 2008, where he was the genius who recommended that McCain select Sarah Palin as a running mate. Yet despite that terrible record, Steve Schmidt is now a hatchet man working at MSNBC, where he goes after Tulsi Gabbard, someone who served in the illegal wars that he helped perpetuate by re-electing George W. Bush in 2004. Now think about the irony of that. Steve Schmidt is somebody who literally built his career working with and helping war criminals. He is condemning Tulsi Gabbard, someone who served in those illegal wars, someone who is still an active duty combat veteran, condemning her as a traitor for meeting with a foreign adversary. And this is being featured on MSNBC, a supposedly liberal left-wing network, who is attacking Tulsi Gabbard from the right and calling her a Republican. All of this boggles the mind. It's upside down, it's backwards, it's very Orwellian. Tulsi Gabbard has become a bad guy in the Democratic Party because she's reflecting the values of the Democratic Party from 15 years ago. Meanwhile, the Bush-era NeoConservatives and the Romneyites, they have become the heroes of the Democratic Party in the Trump era. Recently, Michael Bloomberg announced that he's running, which is really interesting since, again, he is a Bush-era neoconservative. He endorsed George W. Bush for president, appeared at the Republican National Convention.
The president deserves our support. We are here to support him. And I am here to support him.
But now he is going to be a major player in the 2020 Democratic primaries.